Well, good morning. I'm Dr. Julia Royston of BK Royston Publishing, Royal Media and Publishing, and the Book Business Boss Consulting, helping you get your message to the masses, turn your words into wealth, and be a book business boss. This is the day that the Lord hath made. We shall rejoice, we shall sing, and we shall be glad in it. Helping people to be all that they can be, building people so they can build the kingdom. That's what we're all about. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. So, I have a short topic today. It is very, very short. Um, when you first start speaking, you start off with one title and you end up with something else. But initially it's in the ask, and it's in the ask, and then just ask when I was putting this video together, and now it's just ask, because Matthew 7:7 says, ask and it shall be given, seek and ye shall find, knock and the door shall be open. But today we're just talking about the ask. You're going to have to, the old folks used to say, if you want something, you got to say something. If you want something, you got to open your mouth. It was always amazing that when Jesus would be walking along, remember, Jesus, all man, all divine, all heavenly, all earthly. He's in human flesh, but he's all God, wrapped up in human flesh. And so, but he would always ask the people, what do you want? What do you want? And they would have to say something. That's that partnership with God. And of course, that's a part of prayer. That shouldn't be the only part of your prayer, is asking, this is what I need. And I got this long list, Jesus. I hope you're ready to hear it. But the main thing, though, the first part of the asking to me is always, who are you asking? Have you ever had someone call you, or you even call into customer service and you have a question and they say, I don't know that answer. I've got to go to my supervisor. I've got to ask my supervisor. You know why? Because they don't have the authority on the level that they're on. They may not even have the power. They don't have the expertise. They don't have the experience. They can't, you've been to a restaurant and the meal wasn't right, and you ask, can I see a manager? And, fear enters a server immediately, because they never want any, a bad reputation or anything slighted. And they definitely don't want to slide it in the tip. But you got to ask for a manager. You have to ask for someone higher than that. Because sometimes it's not the server's fault. Sometimes it's the cooking. It's the taste. And usually if I ever ask for a manager, I usually say, okay, no, wait a minute. It has nothing to do with the server. So don't worry about that piece. It has to do with this quality of food that came from the kitchen. She just brought it. She didn't have nothing to do with cooking it. So it has nothing to do with the server. She's done a wonderful job. She's only done the job she was hired to do, and done exceptional at that, or he, or whatever. But I need help with this. I need you to make an adjustment. I need you to satisfy something that I'm paying for that I didn't get. There is something that's going on that I need help with. And surprisingly enough, who you ask does matter. And so asking God is just always number one, because he's going to tell you the truth. He's going to tell you the answer. And even if he doesn't say anything, that still means, it means a lot to me, because when he's not speaking, that means either keep seeking him, or I'm not ready for that ask, or I'm not ready for the answer. So it does matter. Number one, who are you asking? So when you go to God, you go into the top. You go in the one who controls everything. He knows the beginning from the end, the first and the last, the intent of the heart, the intent of everything, all that's in between. But sometimes it's his permissive will, and I want his perfect will. I'm getting old. I don't really want a lot of permissive will if I don't have to, because that sometimes comes with trouble and lessons and ups and downs. And God, why did you tell me up front? No, boo, you got to go through Samaria. You got to go through this. So it just all depends on, number one, who are you asking? Who are you asking? And what are you? And then, of course, What are you asking? Now, the disclaimer is be careful for what you ask. Be careful for what you're asking for. I remember one time I was asking God for something, and I just wanted one thing. I really did. I really just wanted the one thing. And he said, if you really, wanted it, you could have the whole thing. You want one thing, but you could have the whole thing. And that's always good to know. And I'm always running it in the back of my mind that I could have the whole thing that I wanted, but I didn't feel like I was ready for the whole thing. I'm like, oh Lord, what would Brian say? So I went with the one thing. I realized that, there may be more, but I have to be ready for it. He felt like I was ready for it, but I'm like, no, Lord, thank you, but I don't know if I want the headaches to go. I don't know if I want the stretching and enlarge my state, enlarge my thinking, and enlarge my I don't know what I want to enlarge to that level. It's possible. But people ask for it, those big things, but they don't know what goes into it. I guess I've lived long enough that I know that somebody, that some things come with trouble. I don't know other way to say it, but it comes with problems. And you have to understand, you have to be focused in your ask. You have to be direct with your ask. You have to be, old folks used to tell us, you got to be very specific in your ask, because you don't know all the other things that can possibly come with it. So that be careful with your ask. Is it a limited or a limitless ask? I'm not really good at singing that song. I understand the intent of it, that, God, your way, but any way you bless me, Lord, I'll be satisfied. I don't really have that strong on my repertoire. Because I've known that, sometimes some things we ask for, God is wanting to teach us a lesson. Now, I know some people who need help and they don't want to ask. I don't want to ask nobody. Nobody. They don't trust nobody, even a stranger, somebody they know, somebody who loves them. They just won't ask. They would prefer, their pride would prefer for them to just fight it out on their own. Because number 3, it's humbling when you ask. Now, something simple. Can you pass the salt and pepper over there? Because it's out of my reach. Brian, can you reach on that third shelf where you put those, because I can't reach it. But then there's something about when you have to ask for something that is personal, that is very private, very personal, very, very private, very, very personal, because you don't want nobody to know. And you don't want to suffer the ridicule, the backbiting, the talking, and this one said this. But I tell you what, I was at a gathering. I can't call it a conference because it was definitely not a conference. It was a gathering, and I've talked about it before. And special shout out to Power Ministries International and Prophetess Anna Robles. But some of the things that the women, by their presence and by their coming to the altar, confessed to, would have just been aghast at any other assembly of people. But it was a safe place. It was a place of deliverance. It was the place where people put it all out there on the altar. And I hadn't seen that kind of transparency or the openness to be that transparent in a long time. Because most people do the come to Jesus by night. They don't want nobody to know they're struggling with that. They don't want nobody to know that that's actually even going on in their life, or it's a fight, or it's a warfare going on, and in their house, in their body, in their mind, in their spirit. Because it's humbling when you ask. But we have to ask Jesus. That old hymn, I must tell Jesus. I must tell Jesus. Jesus can help me. Jesus alone. But also Jesus works through people. So it's humbling when you ask. And sometimes you don't need the ridicule, the shame of, and you shut up. That's not the time. And I'm quite sure that if people feel like they're going to get that repercussions, they're not going to ask you. You know, and recently here of late, we Brian and I have been using that phrase. This is the no judgment zone. Because how are we going to help people? How are we going to help people if we don't love people? Now, this is sidebar and not what I'm talking about today, but I'm going to push on in. How are you going to, how you have the answer, and they ask for help, but it's so much more with it that it's not even worth the ask. Because so much comes with it. You know, it's like some people that you borrow money from. Girl, let me have $5. I'm $5 short on this. I'll give it back to you in a minute. Well, the trust factor is if you stand in the line, you're going to give it a $5 and roll on. And then here's the $5 I owe you. And we roll on and we don't think no more about it. But this here, there's so much pain and agony and judgment and so much criticism. And people run you down and tell you business. Because it's humbling when you ask. It's already a humbling thing to admit you're hungry, or to admit there's a shortfall, to admit you don't have something. And some people ask, and some people have discernment to whether I give or whether I don't. But it's humbling when you ask. And I understand that. And then in the ask, next, your head, your ears, you know, everything in the upper body is connected. It's been rolling around in your head, but when you say it out of your mouth, life and death is in the power of the tongue. When you say it out of your mouth, your ears hear it, your mouth is connected to it, your heart is connected to it. God hears it, people around you hear it, maybe, but the enemy hears it too. So we always have to be cognizant of that, but greater is he that's in us than he that's in the world. So therefore, when your head and your ears and your mouth and your heart are all connected in that ask, you're asking, hopefully you're asking the right person and you're asking for the right thing, something that's critical. That cars, houses. He said, if you seek the kingdom, all this other stuff I'm going to add to you. People say, well, you know, I'm looking for money. I'm looking for that. Well, if you move in your gift, the money will chase you down. Because if you're effective, if people are satisfied with the service you provide or what you do in the ministry, God is going to take care of the rest. You know, and I know some people, I this and I got to watch. Yeah, you got to have boundaries. Yeah, you got to have limits. You got to be careful what you ask. Yeah. You know, is it, you know, do you have a cap on it? Do you have boundaries set on? Do you have borders? And what you're asking for? And it's definitely humbling when you ask. But God requires it. Your body requires it. In this space and time, we're going to have to ask. We got to go back to the hymn. I must tell Jesus. I must ask Jesus. Because it's getting that tight that some people don't know the answers. They don't even know how to. Because number one, Matthew 7, you got to ask. It's an ask. You got to ask. Bottom line. I wish I had something else. But I don't. Because I'm going to get it off of me. Because I'm going to ask and I'm going to obey. And then the last thing. This was a part, my uncle, one of his favorite. Is there anything too hard for God? No, there's nothing too hard for God. If you ask God a hard thing, you can ask God anything, a hard thing. But make sure you ask according to his will. Because we want his perfect and divine will for our lives. There are certain things we want. And when I was younger, I'm like, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. And we have a lot of wants. But as I'm older, my wants and my needs get really, that list is getting really small. My hard thing, the big thing I want now is health. Keep me healthy, protect me from germs and stuff people putting in the air, people not taking care of themselves. I want wisdom. That's my word for 2025. I'll tell you. It's September and I already know what my word is for 2025. It's wisdom. Any man lack wisdom, ask God. So I'm asking him. I'm asking for wisdom and heightened discernment to know what I should do. There was a people in Israel who knew the times and the seasons. They could determine what we would need to do next. The seasons have changed. Did you notice? I don't know about you in your area, but I mean, it just changed quickly. It was 95, 100 degrees, then boom. I woke up this morning, it was in the 40s. Boom. Just instant. Because, one season leads into the other. And sometimes we won't know the seasons, but the seasons will change really, really fast. You won't even have time to prepare. That's the reason why you got to understand, who are you asking? What are you asking for? You don't want something out of season. You don't want something before you're ready. You can always, no matter where you find yourself, you can ask God the hard things. Now, he may tell you, like he told Paul, my grace is sufficient. And he means for you to go through it. And you're going to learn something from it. But no matter what, you can always ask him. I hope that helps you today. It's an ask. Just ask. And if you ask anything in my name, I will do it. He'll hear you. Ask the Savior to help you. Comfort, strengthen, and keep you. He is willing to aid you. Jesus will carry you through and help you live your best life. Coming up at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on envision-radio.com, where praise meets talk, 24/7 phenomenal programming, music galore. Download the free app on Google Play Store and all these other apps and where podcasts are heard. Then coming up at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is the Spike Davis and Friends show. Tune in for laughs, music, and more. Then Tuesdays is the Book Business Boss show at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. On envision-radio.com, the replays are the Book Business Boss podcast.com. You can, if you're looking for my books in person, you actually visit the bookstore. Go to in Birmingham. I'm at Spirit-Filled Christian Bookstore. In Greensboro, North Carolina, I'm at the Next Chapter Bookstore and gift shop inside Ben's Boys in Greensboro, North Carolina. I'm also at Media Leak Reading Room on Michigan Road in Indianapolis. Go all the way to the bottom of 65 at Mobile Booksellers in Mobile, Alabama. Then come on back up 65 to Louisville at 2 locations of the Brew and Sip Coffee Bar on Broadway and the brand new Packer Landway location. And Jinami Books and More. The store is located at 636 South 18th Street in Louisville. Special shout out to them because they did, the news media did a spotlight on Janami Books and More. Why was she putting away my books? Amazing. Thank you. You can see the video if you go to my Facebook page, Janami Books, and you'll see Ms. JC Prolific Jones Britt there being interviewed. And it's a wonderful opportunity for that bookstore there. Coming up this week, a lot going on this week. Monday Motivation with Ms. Charvette Mitchell, September 9th at noon on LinkedIn. A new audio system. I'm looking forward to trying it out as a speaker, but just it's for 1 hour. So as I say, as Jesus said, can you watch with me 1 hour? So tune in, go to her page as well as my page. The links are there for you to listen in to LinkedIn audio. It's a new system. She always tries out the new stuff and introduces it to us. So I'm always thrilled about that. So that's Monday Motivation at 12 noon. And then on Tuesday, I have 2 interviews. So Tuesday, September 10th, I'm going live with the authors of Gaslight Festival at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Some of the authors there that are sharing their books. So if you're in the Louisville area, great. You can come to Gaslight Festival in J-Town on September 13th through the 15th and meet them there. But if you're not in the Louisville area and you still want to support these authors, that's the reason why we go live. Not only just to invite you to the festival, but also for you to enjoy and learn about their books so that you can support them, where you can contact them and where you can purchase. And then same Tuesday, yeah, same Tuesday, September 10th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going live with the Black Authors Matter TV, the National Black Book Festival. It's going to be held in Houston, Texas in October. And we're going to be talking about the workshop that I'm doing in regards to write the book that builds the brand. And so that's the workshop I'm going to be conducting. I'm also the moderator for the publishers panel. I always look forward to that and people asking questions, etc. So if you're in the Houston or the Texas area, National Black Book Festival is, wait a minute, hold on one second. I'll tell you the date because I haven't started. I have promoted that, but it is the 18th and 19th of October in Houston, Texas at Fallbrook Church. So we've been going there for many, many years. It is, to me, it is always a learning and a pouring for me. I'm always there teaching, but I'm also learning from others, learning from displays, interviewing the authors there. There's a whole lot that I do at National Black Book Festival. Also, as a publisher, authors come with questions and issues, and I can't get and I need. And so I always consider myself an author and publisher in residence too when I go there. That is part of my give back and part of my literacy ties when I'm there. So I'm always looking forward to that. So join me this week. I'm going live a lot this week. So tune in for all kinds of information and get your pen and paper and get your phone ready to learn a lot. If you're interested in getting your book published or you have questions regarding your book, or even if your book's already published and you need help, let's have a conversation, talkwithroyston.com. And for all the other websites, everything else, JuliaAKRoyston.com. That's JULIA, another A and K, ROYSTON.com. Who's joining me this morning? Hey, Samantha, how are you? How are you? How are you? Great for joining me. Samantha Bishop just released her new book, and it will soon be a journal and ministry series. So those of you who are heading out to church this morning and getting ready to go, and you really need that assignment that God has given to you and to multiple generations. So it's just not to young, it's just not to old. It's combining them all. The title of her latest book is Intergenerational Assignment. Be sure and take a look and find that. It is available on Amazon.com, but look her up and follow her. She is a voice for this time and this season. Thank you so much for joining me. So I'm Dr. Julia Royston, praying today, tomorrow, and always that you live your best life. Head over to envision-radio.com for the rest of the day. Be blessed. Yes, ma'am. Just ask. Good morning. Good morning. You all be blessed and have an awesome day. Bye-bye.